Okay, Baruch Hashem, another 5 minutes of Bitachon, and of course, we'd like to dedicate today's learning as a Schos Refuah Shalema for Miriam Ahuva Bas Esther and Tinoik Ben Miriam Ahuva, B'siyata Dishmaya, the Schos of Tefillah, the Schos of Talmud Torah Berabim, the Schos of strengthening our Bitachon, which we're working on every single day, should bring a complete Refuah Shalema, Besurais Toivais Bekarov. And it's very fitting, as I opened up my Bais Halevi on Bitachon today, the piece that we're going to learn today is very fitting. We should never be in a tsar chalila. But when a mishpacha has a tsar, there's always questions. How do we deal with it? So firstly, I just like to repeat a line that the Bais Halevi taught us a few weeks ago, a line that's been playing through my mind. Because anytime you're in a tzara, you're in a tsar, immediately our natural and human instinct is to question. Did I do the right thing? Did I go to the right doctor? Maybe I could have prevented it. Maybe I could have done something differently. And we learned a line from the Bais Halevi, a line that's been repeating in my mind. And the line is, Hishtadlos is before anything happens. But once there's a problem, once there's a situation of a tzara, then it's bitachon. Of course, we need bitachon the whole way. But before something happens, that's when we plan. And we plan, and we do our ishtadlus, and we realize that Hashem controls all. But then once the tzara hits, naturally we start questioning, and we start asking, was I right, was I wrong? Should I have done something differently? But that's not the attitude taught the Bais Halevi. In a situation of tzara, at that moment we stop and we have bitachon that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is holding our hand even when it's the most difficult. And the piece that we're learning today, finishing up the 22nd chapter, writes the Bais Halevi, a line we've learned, but now we're going to develop. Ukvar mevur b'sefer Nefesh HaChaim. A line for the Nefesh HaChaim, a famous line, that what do you do? And these are words that talk to each and every one of us. Hashem raya adam es atzmai b'tzar chalila. You're hit with a tsar. What do you do? No one asked for it. No one planned it. What do you do? Says the Bais Halevi Yisboinen. We think, Ba'achdos haboirei, the oneness of Hashem, Asher ein oid milvadoi. There's nothing aside for him, and then Mimila mistalku mimenu kol hadinim v'aketrugim, which is exactly what you need in a situation of tsar, in a situation of tzara, a hospital, a difficult situation. How are we going to move on? Ein oid milvadoi. And in the bottom over here of David Sutton, in his absolutely beautiful way, explains the depth of what this means. He quotes that the Nefesh HaChaim, when he says this line, explains that the more that we think and contemplate this belief that there's nothing aside for Hashem, that thought process, that mindset has the power to negate, to destroy all the negative forces. And the Nefesh HaChaim writes, or Chaim Volozhin, incredible words. This is a profound concept. This, of course, is the translation. And a wondrous Segula. Wondrous! What do we need? We need Nisim. A wondrous Segula to contemplate and to think. Ein oin milvadoi. But Rav David Sutton goes a drop deeper. And he beautifully explains, let's go 1 ounce deeper. Then not only does ein oin milvadoi mean only Hashem could help, which I think is what we think it means. No, he says that there's no physical boundaries, of course, to Hashem, but Hashem is also the only thing that does help. There's a fine detail over there. Not only does Hashem only help, but it's the only entity that does help. Meaning, as we go to the doctors and as we do everything else, but we focus and we realize it's the Tehillim, it's the realization of Ein Oin Milvadoi, then everything else in this world, this physical world we live in, are the manifestations of God on earth. The doctors, the tests, everything is Hashem's drawing board. So the more we realize that the only thing that helps is Hashem, and that there's nothing else that exists aside for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a wild thing to think about. There's nothing. What is My computer in front of me is Hashem. Hashem is allowing everything to exist. The more we have that thought process, the more that we realize that, the more that we're allowing Hashem to take over and negate any kitrugim, any negative forces. We'll conclude with the words of Rav Yitzchak Hutner that he says as follows, and I'll quote, it's such a profound line. Scientists, secularly, have been trying to find a place in the universe for Hashem to exist. Torah sages, our Chazal, have been trying to find a place in Hashem for the universe to exist. Everything is Hashem. And that's this wondrous Segula of Einoin Milvadai, Siyata Deshmaya, by us strengthening our Bitachon, by us realizing in situations of tzara that all it is Hashem. And of course, every capital Tilim moves the world, that allows Hashem to be the entity that will help, that will change, that will go to that drawing board and erase those smudges and allow all the negative forces to be counteracted. Siyata Deshmaya, we should share Besuras Taivis all in the own lives, in our mishpacha, and everyone in their own personal life as they realize Ein Oin Milvadoi. And with that, we should all see Yeshua is B'siyata Deshmaya.